Welcome back. Today we're going to cover Last Alert for the TurboGrafx-CD. This run-and-gun shooter was originally released in Japan in 1989 under the title Red Alert, with the US release the following year. Being a CD-ROM game, I will turn it over to the cinematics to tell you the story.
We, the Special Mission Unit, were sent here to rescue hostages upon a request from the Lloyd government. There was, however, no sight of a camp at the designated location. We had been tricked by the Lloyd regime. What met our eyes instead was... How could Lloyd's government betray us?
Colonel Kadat of the Republic of Libid, Mr. Lee of the Hong Kong Mafia, Chairman Steve of the Dual Foundation, Dr. Garcia, a brilliant physicist. With these four as its core figures, Force Project, an international armed band, began its evil activities. Its aim was to rule the world by organizing massacres, blackmailing, terrorism, and smuggling of weapons.
Yes, Mr. President. We're certain that Lloyd betrayed us. It seems that the Force Project is behind them. Their ability should not be underestimated. Yes, I have someone in mind. Let me handle this. The only person who could possibly fight the Force Project is this man. Guy Kazama is the only one.
The ultimate goal of Force Project is the development of a satellite weapon, Indra, which will end all of humanity. It's up to Guy Kazama, with the help of intel from the President and CIA, to march through enemy bases, factories, swamps, villages, snow, and many more environments, fighting enemy troops, rescuing hostages, avoiding booby traps, to track down the leaders behind Force Project and put a stop to Indra. It's a lot to take in. The missions Guy Kazama must complete are indicated by markers on the area maps. The markers come in three colors representing different types of missions. Blue markers are standard missions where you march through enemy territory from point A to point B and face a boss at the end. Yellow markers require you to complete a specific task, like placing bombs in a hangar or rescuing hostages before the stage can be cleared. Red markers are spy missions where Guy must use his pistol to take out the enemies. For these missions, using a different weapon causes more enemies to appear on screen, but switching back to the pistol will cease the enemy onslaught. In some maps, you can choose from multiple missions that can be completed in any order. All missions must be completed in a specific time limit. An interesting feature of Last Alert is the RPG style of leveling up. You receive experience points for defeating enemies, rescuing hostages, and completing missions. When you gain enough points, your level will raise as indicated by a change in rank, which ranges from Ranger to Superhero, and your maximum health increases. Plus, Guy Kazama receives new weapons every few levels. If you're killed in action or run out of time, you will restart the stage you were in, and your experience points will drop back to the point where you last gained a level. You're going to need lots of firepower to take down Force Project. Guy's initial weapon is the pistol, which fires 3 bullets at a time. Along the way, he'll gain an Uzi, which fires off 5 rounds at a time. Next is the M16, which fires a spread of 3 3-round bursts. His next weapon is the M203 grenade launcher, which fires a spread of 2 3-round bursts, including an explosive grenade round. The next weapon, which I find to be the most effective, is the heavy machine gun, which fires a wide spread of 2 5-round bursts. Once Guy attains superhero status, he receives the missile launcher, which fires 2 bursts of 4 missiles at a time. Weapons can be switched when the game is paused. Here are a few tips to help you get through the game. Holding down the attack button locks in your firing direction, allowing you to dodge enemy fire while maintaining focus on your targets. Once you attain the heavy machine gun, you can rush through each level, and bosses can be taken out very quickly if you fire at close range. In addition to your main weapons, Guy can stock up on an assortment of secondary weapons, which are scattered throughout each level or dropped by defeated enemies. Like the main weapons, sub-weapons can be switched when the game is paused. There are hand grenades which are useful in blowing up enemies in areas where your bullets cannot reach. You have homing missiles which are effective when you're surrounded by enemies in all directions. The disc launcher is also useful when you're surrounded by enemy troops. There is a satellite which places pods on each side of the player to provide extra firepower and protection from enemy fire. Finally, you have the flamethrower which shoots a steady stream of fire for about 20 seconds. With all the enemy fire and traps that you must dodge, you're going to take damage. Be on the lookout for first aid kits which restores your health. Last Alert was one of many run-and-gun shooters released between the mid-80s and early 90s, so they needed to offer an experience to stand out from the crowd. As a fan of this genre, I feel Last Alert has a lot to offer. The levels are spacious with plenty of opportunities for exploration to accumulate weapons and points. Also, there are a wide array of levels, some of which have traps and obstacles put into place. Having different types of missions helps with the variety. Last Alert offers a long adventure which takes around an hour and a half to 2 hours to complete, which includes plenty of cinematics between missions to flesh out the plot. One small detail I noticed that was cool was that Guy Kazama's attire changes based on the part of the story he's in. For example, on the cruise ship mission, he's wearing a tuxedo. The RPG system of leveling up is innovative for the genre. Having a large arsenal of weapons is always a plus for these types of games. The musical tracks are fast-paced with catchy beats. You can't talk about Last Alert without mentioning the voice acting. Hear for yourself.
Guy Kazama, if you don't want the hostage killed, you should keep quiet.
Guy, the stealth bomber is in the back of this factory.
Okay, Spartan, hang in there just a while longer.
Even for an early CD-ROM release, they could have done a much better job, but I admit I do find the voices humorous. According to the end credits, only 5 people worked on the voices and just their first names are given. I can see why. The character sprites, sprite animations, and sound effects are not up to standards for the 16-bit era. Last Alert is not too difficult. You can take a lot of damage before dying, especially when your levels are maxed out. Some of the later missions with short time limits in the last stage are the only difficult parts in this game. The load times are long. Overall, Last Alert is a good but not great game, though I do have fun with it. Give it a try. If you want to get this for original hardware, buy the PC Engine CD version. US copies are too pricey to consider purchasing unless you're going for a complete collection. I hope you enjoyed this review, and as always, thanks for watching.